Hello, fans! Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the swirling drama of wedding fantasies, supportive alliances, and terrifying realities unfolding in Port Charles. In the bustling halls of General Hospital, Willow Tate finds herself lost in a haze of romantic reverie. Her eyes sparkling with anticipation as she confides in her colleague Elizabeth Baldwin about the momentous day ahead. Tomorrow marks the pinnacle of her dreams, when she officially becomes Mrs. Drew Kane, exchanging vows in what she envisions as a fairy tale ceremony complete with delicate floral arches and heartfelt toasts from loved ones. Elizabeth offers a warm, knowing smile, masking her inner reservations about Drew's transformation from the honorable man she once knew to someone entangled in questionable schemes. Yet duty calls in the high-stakes world of nursing, where patient charts and urgent vitals demand their undivided attention. Dreams of white lace and promises must take a back seat to for drips and bedside consultations. Willow's idealized hero, however, has been straying far from the path of valor lately, leaving those who remember his past self bewildered by his recent moral detours. Adding a fresh layer to this intrigue, whispers around the hospital suggest Willow might be incorporating personal touches into the wedding, like a custom vow renewal incorporating family heirlooms from her adoptive lineage, symbolizing unity amid the chaos of Port Charles life. This blissful bubble contrasts sharply with the undercurrents of doubt as Elizabeth ponders whether to voice her concerns, perhaps drawing from her own history of complicated romances to offer subtle guidance without shattering Willow's joy. Shifting to another corner of tension, Martin Gray faces a stern rebuttal from Tracy Quartermain, whose sharp tongue lashes out with a definitive "that's never going to happen" in response to his latest update. It seems Martin is relaying the rushed nuptials between Willow and Drew, strategically timed to paint them in a glowing light for an impending custody battle over young Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Tracy, ever the fierce protector of family legacies, views this union as a farce that won't sway any judge, vowing it would occur over her dead body or perhaps Drew's, given her disdain for his machinations. To deepen the stakes, Tracy might be weaving in her own investigative threads, enlisting discreet allies to uncover dirt on Drew's business dealings, all while juggling the broader referendum aimed at dismantling Sonny Corinthos' influence in the city. This referendum, a hot-button issue dividing Port Charles, could tip the scales in unexpected ways, with Tracy strategizing late-night meetings in dimly lit boardrooms to rally supporters against organized crime elements. Her reaction underscores a web of alliances and enmities, where custody isn't just about children but about power plays that could reshape family dynamics for generations. Inventing a new twist, perhaps Tracy hints at a hidden document from the Quartermain archives that could expose Drew's altered identity, adding fuel to her fiery opposition and making the wedding a potential powder keg. Over at the hospital's quieter corridors, Isaiah Gannon steps up as a pillar of strength for his beleaguered friend Portia Robinson, who finds herself ensnared in an ethical quagmire courtesy of Drew's ruthless blackmail. Drew demands she fabricate Michael Corinthos' medical records to falsely indicate an opioid addiction, a plausible fabrication given Michael's history as a burn victim reliant on potent painkillers during recovery. Portia grapples with the devastating fallout, confessing could strip her of her medical license, shatter her family's stability, and expose her to legal peril, as Drew has ominously warned. In a heartfelt exchange, Portia likely unburdens her soul to Isaiah, outlining desperate contingency plans that weigh honesty against survival. His response is a rallying cry: "If you're going down, then go down swinging." This encouragement might inspire Portia to explore uncharted options, such as consulting anonymous ethics hotlines or even planting subtle clues for authorities without direct implication. Expanding on this, Isaiah could draw from his own shadowy past, perhaps a fabricated backstory involving a stint in undercover operations to advise on evasive tactics, turning their conversation into a clandestine strategy session amid beeping monitors and sterile scents. The scene highlights the precarious balance of loyalty and self-preservation in Port Charles, where one wrong move could unravel careers and lives alike. Meanwhile, Lucas Jones's deepest fears materialize in the stark confines of the Port Charles Police Department, where he stands alongside Detective Harrison Chase and Ada Justine Turner, their faces etched with grim determination. Turner, clutching a thick file brimming with leads and timelines, declares that the PCPD must investigate Marco Rios' disappearance as a potential abduction, especially after he failed to appear at his mother's poignant memorial service. Lucas, consumed by anguish, points an accusatory finger at Sonny Corinthos, convinced the mobster's vendettas are behind this vanishing act. To heighten the drama, new details emerge. Eyewitness accounts from the service describe a suspicious vehicle lingering nearby, possibly linked to Sonny's associates, fueling Lucas's paranoia and pushing him to demand round-the-clock surveillance on known Corinthos hangouts. Marco, in a chilling turn, remains captive in a dimly lit storage room, bound to a rickety chair after a failed escape attempt that left him bruised and desperate. Questions linger as anyone, like the enigmatic Jason Morgan, who recently whisked Sasha Corbin and Daisy Gilmore to safety, bothered to check on Marco's well-being. This oversight adds a layer of neglect to the peril, perhaps with invented elements like faint echoes of distant footsteps teasing false hope for rescue. Compounding the suspense, Jen Sidwell exudes a menacing aura as he paces outside, his body language screaming calculated malice while dialing a mysterious contact on his phone. With a voice laced with lethal intent, he insists on receiving what's owed to him, his words dripping with the promise of retribution. Sidwell's son remains unaccounted for, and he's certain Sonny holds the key. Though Sonny's maneuvers have left him at a tactical disadvantage, Swaddle's operatives scouring the shadows have turned up empty-handed on Marco's location. Sonny's stark warning that the boy's fate rests in Sidwell's hands only amplifies the standoff, prompting speculation on Sidwell's next move, perhaps a daring raid on Sonny's warehouses or alliances with underground figures to escalate the conflict. Inventing fresh intrigue, Sidwell might be coordinating with international contacts, smuggling in high-tech surveillance gear to track Sonny's every step, turning Port Charles into a chessboard of deadly gamesmanship where one false play could ignite all-out war. Finally, Mayor Laura Collins finds herself in a pivotal moment with Sonny Corinthos, her expression turning grave as she receives unsettling intel that shakes her to the core. Sonny, ever the pragmatist, urges her to act decisively, warning that if she hesitates, he'll step in himself fair-shared serious gazes, underscoring the high stakes. This could tie into the contentious peers dispute, where Sonny and Sidwell's rivalry over control has boiled over into threats and shadowy dealings. Laura, navigating her role as the city's moral compass, sees Sonny as the lesser evil compared to Sidwell's unbridled menace. Though not all in Port Charles share her view, dissenters in City Hall might be pushing for stricter crackdowns. To expand this, Laura could be poring over classified reports detailing Sidwell's global criminal network, including fabricated ties to arms trafficking that heighten the urgency. Sonny's encouragement might stem from a rare vulnerable admission, revealing how the peers represent not just territory but a legacy he's fighting to preserve for his children. Blending personal stakes with civic duty in a tense alliance that could redefine power in the town. Next, we will learn about the enigmatic journey of Dr. Isaiah Gannon and why his untapped potential is leaving fans yearning for more explosive drama in Port Charles. When Dr. Far from just another nameless victim, Isaiah revealed himself as a valiant ally to Lucky Spencer, diving headfirst into a perilous mission to extract Lucky from the clutches of the ruthless warlord Jens Sidwell in a remote African outpost riddled with danger and double crosses. His medical prowess shone brightly as he not only orchestrated the daring rescue, but also performed life-saving surgery on Lulu Spencer, stabilizing her in a makeshift clinic amid gunfire and chaos, earning him an instant spot on the staff at General Hospital. This newcomer brimmed with promise, blending the charm of a rugged adventurer with the precision of a top-tier surgeon, suggesting storylines ripe for international intrigue or hidden family vendettas. To amp up the excitement, imagine if writers had delved into a fabricated backstory where Isaiah's unconscious arrival stemmed from a botched undercover op against Sidwell's syndicate, complete with forged passports and encrypted messages that could resurface to pull him back into the fray. His integration into the hospital staff felt like the dawn of a new era, where his skills could tackle exotic cases like rare tropical diseases brought back by globe-trotting residents, positioning him as a beacon of hope amid Port Charles' endless turmoil. Yet, as fans tuned in eagerly, it became clear that this character's depth was only scratching the surface, leaving us to ponder what thrilling paths lay unexplored. Sparks flew almost immediately between Isaiah and the poised Deputy Mayor Jordan Ashford, igniting a mutual attraction that sizzled with undeniable chemistry and promised to inject some much-needed passion into Jordan's often duty-bound existence. For too long, Jordan had been sidelined in romantic droughts, her focus laser-sharp on law enforcement and civic duties. But Isaiah's arrival offered a tantalizing escapee steamy liaison filled with late-night rendezvous in hidden corners of the Metro Court and whispered confessions under the stars. Their connection was electric, with shared glances across crowded rooms and flirtatious banter that hinted at a power couple in the making, perhaps even collaborating on covert operations to dismantle criminal networks. Unfortunately, Jordan's unyielding drive to eradicate Sidwell's threat overshadowed their budding romance, leading to a heartbreaking split before it could fully blossom, as she chose justice over desire in a tense confrontation that left Isaiah reeling from the rejection. Adding a shocking invented twist, what if lingering feelings resurface through a secret letter Isaiah discovers, penned by Jordan during a moment of vulnerability, revealing she faked the breakup to protect him from Sidwell's assassins who had targeted her inner circle? This unresolved tension underscores how Isaiah's romantic prospects were cut short, depriving viewers of a storyline that could have evolved into a forbidden affair entangled with political scandals and high society galas, where their chemistry might have rivaled iconic soap couples of the past. Hints of deeper lore tantalized fans when subtle clues suggested Isaiah's ties to the storied Gannon family from Longview, the fictional hub of One Life to Live, potentially linking him to a legacy of intrigue, wealth, and long-buried scandals that could bridge soap universes in crossover glory. Whispers in episodes pointed to possible sibling connections or inherited fortunes, evoking visions of dramatic revelations like unearthed diaries or surprise visits from distant relatives bearing Longview artifacts. However, these threads dangled frustratingly without payoff, fizzling out into oblivion and leaving a void where epic family reunions or inheritance battles could have unfolded. To invent a fresh element, picture a scenario where Isaiah stumbles upon an antique locket in his belongings, engraved with Gannon insignia, triggering flashbacks to a childhood trauma involving a Longview kidnapping that mirrors current Port Charles abductions, forcing him to confront suppressed memories and seek out long-lost kin. This untapped connection could have propelled Isaiah into a multi-generational saga, blending nostalgia with new shocks, such as discovering he's heir to a pharmaceutical empire with ties to shady dealings at General Hospital itself. The failure to materialize these hints feels like a missed opportunity, stranding Isaiah in narrative limbo and robbing the show of the crossover fireworks that soap enthusiasts crave. Now, with his initial buzz fading, it seems the writers are at a loss for how to harness Isaiah's charisma, relegating the dashing doctor to the role of Port Charles' unofficial therapist rather than a dynamic force in his own right. Instead of thrusting him into pulse-pounding medical mysteries or romantic entanglements, he's become the default sounding board for the town's myriad troubles, dishing out sage advice like a human self-help manual amid the hospital's fluorescent-lit chaos. He lends a sympathetic ear to Elizabeth Baldwin as she navigates her rekindled emotions for Lucky, perhaps in quiet coffee breaks where he shares invented anecdotes from his own past heartbreaks to guide her. Lulu turns to him with her post-coma dilemmas, seeking counsel on rebuilding her life, while Willow unloads her endless litany of personal woes, from custody fears to marital doubts, finding in Isaiah a patient listener who validates her every sigh. Even Portia Robinson confides in him about her marital strains and simmering jealousy toward Jordan, turning their chats into impromptu therapy sessions over cafeteria lunches. This pattern has transformed Isaiah into a walking advice columnist, always ready with empathetic nods and motivational quips, but it strips away the adventure that defined his entrance. Expanding creatively, maybe Isaiah's advisory role stems from a hidden talent for hypnosis, a skill he picked up during his African exploits. which he subtly employs to help characters uncover repressed truths, adding a layer of psychological thriller to his interactions. Next, we will learn about the electrifying undercurrents brewing between Ava Jerome and Cody Bell, a pairing that could ignite Port Charles with unforeseen passion and peril. In the shadowy corridors of intrigue that define Port Charles, whispers of an improbable alliance between the cunning Ava Jerome and the roguish Cody Bell are sending shockwaves through the fanbase, promising a romance as volatile as it is captivating. What began as a calculated ploy, orchestrated by the fiery Christina Corinthos Davis to unearth incriminating evidence against Ava's manipulative hold over Alexis Davis through blackmail tactics involving forged documents and whispered threats, has unexpectedly evolved into a genuine magnetic pull. Their interactions, once laced with deception, now crackle with stolen glances and charged silences, transforming routine encounters into moments pregnant with possibility. Imagine a clandestine meeting in the dimly lit Jerome Gallery where Cody's accidental brush against Ava's hand lingers just a second too long, hinting at desires neither anticipated. To invent a fresh layer of tension, perhaps Cody stumbles upon a hidden sketch in Ava's collection, a vulnerable self-portrait that reveals her guarded heart, drawing him in deeper despite his original mission to expose her schemes. As Ava grapples with the sting of Rick Lansing's growing fascination with the steadfast Elizabeth Baldwin, evident in his lingering gazes during hospital visits, and Cody wrestles with his unresolved affections for Molly Lansing Davis, this duo's chemistry could either forge them into the town's most audacious power couple or shatter under the weight of their convoluted entanglements. Fans are buzzing about whether this spark will fan into a full-blown inferno or fizzle out amid the chaos, especially with Cody's history of impulsive decisions adding an unpredictable edge to their flirtations. Cody's initial charm offensive, designed purely as a snare to trap Ava in her own web of deceit, has backfired spectacularly, leaving him authentically ensnared by her enigmatic allure and sharp wit. Their banter, exchanged in the intimate glow of gallery spotlights during a private viewing of contemporary art pieces that mirror their own turbulent lives, reveals layers of mutual respect and undeniable attraction. Picture Cody cracking a joke about Ava's infamous poker face, only for her to counter with a sly remark that leaves him grinning despite himself. Ava, still smarting from Rick's emotional drift toward Elizabeth's comforting presence, which includes shared coffees and supportive chats about their respective past traumas, might discover in Cody's rugged, no-nonsense demeanor a refreshing antidote to her string of polished but treacherous suitors. Despite Ava's storied past of maneuvering adversaries with calculated precision, often turning the tables on those who underestimate her, this connection feels disarmingly real, potentially offering her a thrill she hasn't experienced since her more reckless days. Inventing a new element to heighten the drama, what if Cody uncovers a forgotten love letter from Ava's youth hidden in her gallery archives, prompting a candid conversation about lost loves that bonds them unexpectedly? This budding dynamic has some viewers ecstatic, praising the electric on-screen energy that could redefine soap romance, while others decry it as a regression for Cody, painting him once more as the quintessential bad boy ensnared in moral ambiguity. Amid the swirling opinions, the fan community is divided on this potential matchup, with enthusiastic supporters raving about how Ava and Cody's interactions light up the screen like fireworks over the harbor, envisioning them as a duo capable of delivering steamy scenes and plot-twisting alliances. Detractors, however, are vocal in their hopes for a swift implosion, arguing that the entrapment narrative merely recycles Cody's troubled persona, forcing him back into schemes that undermine his growth and drag the storyline into repetitive territory. Think heated online forums where debates rage about whether this arc dishonors Cody's attempts at redemption. With Cody's status as a recurring character and his binding agreement with Christina, which involves covert recordings and late-night strategy sessions in nondescript diners to compel dirt on Ava, the question looms, will he plunge headfirst into a romance that could jeopardize everything, or retreat to safeguard his fragile bond with Molly, whose trust hangs by a thread after recent betrayals? Ava's razor-sharp instincts, honed from years of navigating Port Charles' cutthroat social scene, could elevate them to a formidable team. perhaps even challenging heavyweights like Drew Quartermain by pooling their resources to expose his own hidden agendas in business and politics. Yet, Cody's insider knowledge of Nina Reeves' scandalous affair with Drew, gleaned from overheard whispers in the Quartermain mansion, combined with his unwavering loyalty to Christina, threatens to sabotage any budding flame before it can truly ignite. If Ava decides to fully embrace this whirlwind attraction, it might solidify their place as an unstoppable force in town. Blending her gallery empire with Cody's street-smart savvy to outwit rivals in high-stakes games of one-upmanship. However, Cody's web of external commitments, including his protective instincts toward Christina amid her ongoing family feuds, and Ava's masterful ability to manipulate situations to her advantage often through anonymous tips or strategic alliance, could ultimately spell doom for their romantic prospects. Delving into invented intrigue, suppose Ava plants a fake clue to test Cody's loyalty, leading to a dramatic confrontation in a rain-soaked alley where truths spill out, forcing him to choose sides in a moment of raw vulnerability. Furthermore, Cody faces the daunting challenge of dipping his toes into this liaison without alerting Molly, whose repulsion toward Ava stems from deep-seated family grudges involving past legal battles and personal slights. Even if the underlying scheme remains concealed, Cody risks appearing as a faithless player, cavorting with someone Molly views as toxic, which could shatter their already tenuous connection. And was in Molly stumbling upon an innocuous photo of Cody and Ava at a gallery event, her heart breaking as suspicions mount. Ouch, indeed, as this secrecy adds a razor-sharp edge to the drama, potentially leading to explosive revelations that ripple through the Lansing Davis clan. Ultimately, an Ava-Cody pairing has the potential to deliver a seismic jolt to Port Charles, unleashing waves of turmoil that intersect with Christina's Machiavellian plans to protect her mother Alexis from prison time. All while Alexis treads a precarious path of legal acrobatics to shield both herself and her daughter from fallout involving tampered evidence and courtroom showdowns. Christina's meddling injects an extra dose of complexity, threatening to further fracture her already fragile relationship with Molly, which has teetered on the brink for the past year amid accusations of favoritism and unresolved sibling rivalries. Picture a heated family dinner where veiled references to Cody's involvement escalate into full-blown arguments. Will Ava and Cody emerge as the show's most enthralling odd couple, their clashing loyalties forging a bond stronger than steel? Or will the massive hidden agendas and conflicting allegiances extinguish their surprising chemistry before it can blaze into something legendary? As tensions simmer, fans are left on the edge of their seats, speculating if this unlikely duo could incorporate shocking twists like a joint heist against a common enemy or a forbidden kiss that changes everything. What do you think? Could Ava and Cody be the fresh spark Port Charles needs? Or is this romance destined for disaster? Drop your predictions in the comments and keep watching ABC General Hospital for the next jaw-dropping developments.